Hey, what's your problem? You have business problems? We have business solutions.
Not guaranteed.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Life is a fight.
It is.
In business, every day is a fight.
Yeah.
So, hey, what's your problem?
Well, of course, there he is, the voice guy for the big program, John David Wells. Check him out. He's on the Wells Report on Facebook. Just search that, the Wells Report. This is the What's Your Problem podcast, where we talk to Middle Tennessee business owners and professionals about the one thing that's keeping them up. It's always something. That is the impetus of this podcast. It's always something. Mm-hmm. And as soon as you realize that, life just kind of gets better. This is a video and audio podcast. Check us out at What's Your Problem Podcast. Subscribe, like, rate, share, please. My goal for this year, 2023, is 5,000 downloads on average per episode. We're a long ways from that. I'll admit that. So if there's anything you can do, or if there's anything that you need to hear from us or would like to make a suggestion to encourage you to share it out or rate it 5 stars, let us know. I am your host, Jim McCarthy, with JimMcCarthyVoiceovers.com, and today, man, I've been looking forward to this one for quite some time. Mr. Trent Perry with T&C Plumbing here locally. You guys have been tearing up the notoriety and popularity of Spring Hill for being one of the most reliable plumbing outfits out there, right?
We pride ourselves on doing so, and I've been looking forward to this, Mr. Jim, getting in here, seeing you in your element. I am absolutely honored to be here in front of you.
Thank you, sir. Here's why we're excited, because Trent is, you have a little bit of a broadcast background, right?
A little bit.
Yeah. You got the voice. It sounds like you missed your calling to be on ESPN. To do sports announcing and things like that, right?
Yeah, it was a fun time. It's still a passion of mine.
Yeah.
I worked with WANT 98.9 FM.
Where are they out of?
Free plug there for them. My guys in Lebanon, right. Down the street from my alma mater. Is it alma mater or alma mater?
Alma mater, I think. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I think I've said both many times, but tomato.
But
they're right down the road, and co-hosted the Fakes and Hooker Scoreboard show, a little seasonal high school football, fun show.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that because, I'm a huge proponent of everybody needs a podcast, right?
Yeah.
And you could certainly do one. You've got the chops, you've got the voice. I mean, you've got a formidable, you're one of the guests that we've had that has a formidable voice almost as much as mine.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, hopefully, now you're putting the pressure on me, because now I need to, hold my ground, and everyone's going to be expecting a very not... Well, I need to get my Jim McCarthy voice.
No, you do you.
Okay.
You do you.
Yeah, I like
always.
that. I do like that.
One thing I will tell you, you're going to get a kick out of this. So the other night, we're watching the Cowboys and the Bucks.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
A slaughter.
It was a slaughter. It was like, dude, get to Brady. What are you doing here?
What's going on?
So at one point, they, the kicker missed 4 field goals, extra points in one game.
Yeah.
So on the 4th attempt, I don't know if you saw this tweet of mine. On the 4th attempt, he missed. The graphics team for ESPN put up a graphic that said 4th consecutive missed field goal.
Ouch!
And it was like, okay, was that a mistake that is hit instead of hitting 3, or 3 consecutive missed field goals, like past tense.
Right.
So I'm thinking, well, they wrote 4, and I'm like, is this a conspiracy? Did they know ahead of time? Or is this a rigged game? And they just let something slip, right?
I was blown away.
Right. And I'm thinking to myself, they're calling this out. They put up this graphic.
Oh, right.
And that says 4 consecutive missed field goals.
Yeah.
And at that point, it had only been 3.
So they were calling it. Oh, they were calling
that's what it seemed like.
Wow.
That's what it seemed like. So
and
I'm going.
Sure enough, he does that.
He missed the 4th field goal, and I'm going, what the crap just happened? Did they make a mistake?
Well,
are they taunting him in a way?
Golly, I don't even know if I made it past the 3rd miss, because I was like, all right.
It was painful.
Yeah.
So he misses the field goal. I go back, I rewind it, I'm taking video of it, I'm going to tweet about this, I'm looking up the trending hashtags because they were going nuts on Twitter at that point, and I put the right verbiage and hashtags in the tweet with the video going, did anybody see this? Anybody else see this? Because are they calling him out? Are they making fun of him? Or did they know ahead of time that this is a rigged thing? Not that it mattered in the end,
right?
But apparently, they weren't wrong. I was being a noob, N-O-O-B, and apparently he had missed a previous game's field goal as well. So it was in going over 2 games, this one and the previous one.
That was the fourth.
He had missed the last field goal he made in the previous game.
There you go.
So that's where, and it's like, I got to give a majority of people credit. Only a few of them were calling me idiot, dumbass, and dummy, and all this other stuff. So if you ever want to go to Jim McCarthy VOs on Twitter, you'll see the whole exchange. But I mean, that video caught fire. I mean, it's got to be 60,000 views on it. Let me take a look.
I mean, it was crazy though. I was cracking up. I don't know if you like the Peyton and Eli version of the Monday Night Football games, where Peyton Manning and Eli Manning are
the Eli brothers do the commentary.
Yeah,
I have yet to see that.
It is really cool. I actually enjoy it. Sometimes they can get too into the guest, and you miss some of the thoughts that you really want to hear them. With some big plays. But they had Deion Sanders on there, and sure enough, it was like his second or third miss, and he was cracking up like, I mean, that's your only job.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, and he's not missing it by a couple of inches. He missed it by like,
it was a landslide.
If you set the parameters on Madden, it's like they're all the way to the right or the left.
Right.
And it's amazing that I even know these terms because I never pay attention to football.
Didn't catch you as a Madden player. You used to play Madden?
I play Madden. I got the 18 version. We had fun with that. My daughter and I would always enjoy playing it. She doesn't. We both don't know what we're doing. I kind of barely know what I'm doing.
That's when you have the most fun.
She has a blast with it. And she's not a fan of football either.
Yeah.
So I'm pulling up this tweet again, and the current metrics are 56,000 views.
Nice.
72 comments, 44 retweets, and 257 hearts. Biggest tweet I've ever had.
Well, gotta love it.
And I'm made to look like an idiot.
Right? Yeah, those are the tweets that go viral when we make ourselves look a little silly.
Some people said you got to take this down. You're gonna make you look like an idiot. I don't care. I really don't.
Leave
care.
it up.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I in sales, if someone doesn't like you, you try and find a way to get them to like you. Yeah. So I would just answer all the hater comments, be like, yeah, dude, I get it. I'm a noob.
Yeah.
It was like what do they call that? Tai Chi, like that argumentative Tai Chi. You absorb their blow and kind of take it and package it and send it back with nice and kindness.
Exactly. Kill them with kindness. My mom would say that all the time.
Right.
Steve Van Gundy had a little something with Kevin Durant recently where Kevin Durant said, "Stan's spitting." Like he said a long thing about how players are getting hurt too often, and then KD was like, "Stan's spitting right here," which means that he was agreeing with him. But then Stan came back and was like, "No, I'm not talking about the players in this aspect." And then somebody said, "Hey, Stan, that means he's agreeing with you." And he came back. He just said, "Oh, I had no idea." He accepted it.
Sometimes you just don't know. I mean, I didn't realize that they were counting consecutive field goals from a previous game, for crying out loud.
Why would they?
It's
their fault. You should really blame them.
I have no idea. So, okay. So we got a pretty good energy going as it is, but we always do something, a feature. And, I'm going to make a choice. The last time I did this as a new feature, Rich Redmond was very good at just holding down a stone cold face. He barely even responded. So you have your choice to pick either the random 5 or the dad joke challenge. What's it going to be?
See, I've heard of the random 5,
right?
And that makes me a little nervous. The random 5,
and it could be any question. I mean, it could be asking your social security number.
Yeah, and we don't want to give that out. I'm kind of like Ron Burgundy. If you're asking me a question, I just answer.
That's right.
Well, you know what? I kind of like the challenge of this dad joke.
The dad joke challenge. We're going with that,
especially because I'm a laugher. And maybe this two sides of the same coin with me and Rich here.
We'll do the dad joke challenge.
Love
All right. So let me get my dad jokes back up here. That Joke Challenge is brought to you by it'syourshow.co. Check us out if you want a podcast like this that's entertaining, hopefully. And you could extract a lot of clips from it. If you've noticing my feeds as of late, look me up at Jim McCarthy VOS pretty much anywhere. You'll see a lot more social activity because I've just been going nuts clipping stuff out of my podcast episodes. Natural conversation, very appealing to watch and listen to, especially if you're talking about something that's of value and all that fun stuff. So there you go. It'syourshow.co. Trent, here we go. Joke number 1. What did the buffalo say when his son left?
I don't know.
Bison. Bye, son. All right, point for you.
It's not bad. It's not bad, but that one.
Hey, maybe it was the timing and the way I deliver. Bad delivery. Chalk it up to that. I went to buy some camouflage pants. Joke number 2. I went to buy some camouflage pants the other day, and I couldn't find any. It's almost breaking.
Getting better. It's getting better. I don't know why. I laugh at some of these things. My wife is shaking her head right now, looking at me because she's always like, "Why do you laugh at this stupid stuff?"
Pretty damn funny.
I'm like, "Hey, sometimes it's funny, you know."
Okay, number 3.
Here we go.
What do you call a fish with no eye?
A fish with no eye?
Yeah.
I feel like I should know this one, but I don't know.
Fish. He's almost laughing. He is smiling.
It's the way that you say it, the way that you delivered that one is good. I like that better than the bison.
All right. Joke number 4. We'll wrap this up soon. What do you call a cheese that isn't your cheese?
Nacho cheese.
That's right.
That one's classic.
That is a classic.
Good.
All right. When does a dad joke, final question, final joke. When does a dad joke become a dad joke?
When
it becomes apparent. No, nothing. All right, well, there you go.
I don't think so. They're clever.
They're clever.
They are clever.
It's a feature that's a work in progress, okay? So, if we have choosable features by the guests, they can choose the random 5 or the dad joke challenge.
You'll have to go back and rank those, and people in the comments section are going to have to tell you if they broke on any of those or which one maybe I laughed when I shouldn't have.
We are 12 minutes into this podcast episode and have accomplished nothing. All right, there you go. The Dad Joke Challenge brought to you by it'syourshow.co. We got the graphic up right behind us. Well, now it's not, but check us out. So here we go. On with the episode, Mr. Trent Perry, sir. Like we were talking about before, it's long overdue. I mean, as soon as you joined, he's also another B&I-er. Mm-hmm. So, anybody who listens to the podcast will know that I have a lot of B&I chapter members, fellow chapter members in the Williamson County, the Wilco chapter.
Yeah, shout out Wilco, the best.
That's right. And you and I met. Actually, I think I brought you in.
Yeah,
that's right. I invited you as a guest. And as it turns out, you got the height, you've got the look, and I'm going, you're Mark, and it's a great company. I know Tanner very well, but it's like, you ever kind of have the, man, what if I could work for ESPN? Can you call a professional game?
I think so. Mm-hmm. I would rather do color. I'd rather be the color analyst. I did work as a color analyst for the same guy I worked with at WANT for the women's collegiate basketball games for Cumberland, and it was some of the most fun I've had just in the game. So I would love the opportunity to be up there one day and hopefully even just promoting T&C Plumbing because I'm
passionate about that.
I've grown very passionate about T&C Plumbing in just a few short months.
And the beautiful thing about it is that with a seat in B&I, with a plumbing seat, there's no shortage of work. Right. There's no shortage of leads and referrals that you can generate.
Yeah,
because everybody at some point is looking for a plumber.
You can never have enough in your back pocket.
That's right.
And it's what I am trying to do, what Tanner brought me in to do as the marketing director is to make sure those people aren't going to Google and type in the old plumbers near me because that's the majority. Mm-hmm. Rather, think of me as the plumbing guy who maybe you've met somewhere and told you that I am working with some damn good plumbers that you can trust in your home. And then it's, I don't need to look that up. I already remember. So that's what I'm here to do.
Well, it's funny. We did have an interaction with your company beginning of the year. Well, I guess late last year. We came in after Christmas time and found a big old frozen pipe that burst upstairs. At least my business partner did. I was in Charlotte with my in-laws, and he calls me on that Monday, and he says, "Hey, can I get you on FaceTime?" I'm like, "Oh boy!" But let alone you barely call me in a social manner. You're calling me and you want to FaceTime me? This is not good. So he gets me on FaceTime, turns it around, and there's just water pouring everywhere in this place.
I hated that. That was the first, because I've only been in the plumbing industry, right? I'm a marketer, but I'm in this plumbing industry now for, since early October.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I've really seen what this is capable of. Because that was a historic cold front, that past year dropped to like -1 or something. So we had calls ringing off the hook, just the work phone. And I was surprised that my phone was getting blown up. I've only, networked for maybe a couple months, and I'm getting hit up by several BNIers and several people I've met through BNI and all these referrals. And I'm texting Tanner like, "Hey man, I need you. What are we doing?" He's like, "Hey, look, we're writing a list, and we'll get to everybody. Just keep responding." And that was the big thing.
Right. So when a marketing person sees an opportunity like this, where does your mind go? I would imagine it's making sure that you're getting the most 5-star reviews, because you've got an onslaught of work, a lot of overtime, a lot of these guys. This is a social proof experiment in the making, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I told Tanner and his wife Alicia, who are running the show, is they have a very unique opportunity to be different from their competitors, because there's not a lot of people with my position that are actively blasting them out on social media and being a face out in front of people that they can communicate with and share energies with. So the biggest thing for me, the opportunity I have seen, is being on those front lines and really just telling their story. And they make my job easy doing that, because that's all I'm doing. I'm not putting a mask over who they are. This is a family-oriented business, and it feels like that whenever you meet any of them or any of our techs.
Well, Tanner he was also a BNI member not too long ago. But like any trade, one of the biggest challenges in BNI right now is that, well, why don't we have any trades in here? Because the trades are here locally covered up. I mean, there's so much business out in this area and so little people to do the work. Is that something you've only been doing this for a short amount of time, but based on your time there, have you seen an interest from people that want to come on board as plumbers, or renewed, refreshed interest in the trades at all?
We're always looking for just good hands and
people
who
want to learn.
Yeah, people who want to learn, people who want to grow, people who are persons that enjoy interacting, enjoy challenges, and have an ethical standard about them, because that's who we are. We embody a few core values that make us different from our competitors, and we just want every single homeowner to know that the person walking into your door is someone you can trust, because that's so important. And that's where it's difficult, because as we continue to scale out and we continue to get all this work in, and we don't have the hands to work on it, then we're pushing people away, and we don't want to do that. Tanner said, "Bring it on, let's bring them in."
Right.
But we also don't want to hire anybody just off the street that's just kind of looking to get a quick buck. We want somebody who's caring about their work. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there, but we're not wanting to compromise who we are.
Well, is it a matter of, in this kind of a scenario, not only is the demand for the trades gone through the roof from a consumer standpoint, but especially at that time when you had so many people's pipes that were frozen and burst. When you have that kind of, an event, you've got an influx and an overbearing, amount of calls coming in, people that want the problem fixed now. A lot of that's just setting the expectation up front, right? I mean, you even told me that if you find somebody else that can come out there quicker than we can, dude, no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
We understand, but we're at least a couple of days out.
Yeah, and that's what we're all about. If we can try to save you some money, we're going to try to. If you are in a emergency like you were and you need something done today, we're going to be transparent with you and tell you, hey, right now we have so many other calls. It's not looking like we're going to be able to get to that, because we want to be, honest with people. We don't want to give you the rope around and say, oh yeah, give us a few hours, and then a few hours make it. And it's like, all right, what are we doing here, when you could have been calling for somebody else? But that's where we see, okay, maybe get some more techs in here as we scale, because that's what I'm here to do. We want to be the premier plumbing company in all of Middle Tennessee, so it will be to a point where we have a lot more hands on deck.
Did you know to set expectations with Tanner in the beginning? Like when he came on board, does he know exactly how long it's going to take and kind of giving you as much runway as you need? Yeah,
we had a really good conversation. This whole thing stemmed from talking about B&I, that conversation, because he just wanted me to do it for him. He was like, hey, I think you'd be great at it, and I don't have the time to do it. You also know his cup of tea is not public speaking, so he's like, man, I'd love for you to do it.
The appealing thing about him is that he's willing to get in front of the camera. He's willing to stand up in front of a crowd of people and talk about his business, even though, hey, it may not be good at it, but he's not bad at it.
Yeah, he wants to.
Right. And that's the thing, is his willingness to try is what is appealing and endearing. Because, I saw the videos you guys put out of him doing tips and things of that. Those are great.
Yeah, he loves doing that, and I love showing that authenticity. You know what I mean? We want people to be able to relate with us, because we're all human, and we're all in the people helping people business. So that's what I want to see. But to answer your previous question, we had that conversation about B&I. I stemmed another conversation over the phone. Wanted to ask him some of his core values, what he believes in, where he wants this thing to go. Hey, maybe I can help you out. And he ended up selling me over the phone. I was calling him like, I think I'm gonna have to try to sell him on this idea I have. But he was like, man, I'm all aboard. Yeah. I'm going to sell you on working for me for a very long time, because that's what I want. And he sold me on the passion that he had for this business. And he knew, he was like, yeah, this is going to be a slow burn. This is something that we're looking at 5-10 years. And your position will be very pivotal in the help of scaling this thing out.
The only reason why I bring that up is because I made that mistake.
Really?
I got out of radio, and a lot of people may or may not know this. I got out of radio to get into the car business because at the time, had a family to feed, had to get, make more money. So I had a buddy of mine in the car business who said, well, anytime you want to come over here, just consider it a green light, and you'll be able to make decent money for your family. There was a offshoot, a little detour in between those two industries that I had with the collision business. Similar scenario to you. Hey, I want you to come on and do marketing for us, work with the agencies when we place the buys, make video content, things of that nature. This is 2013, so a lot of the Instagram was new at that point. Mm-hmm. There was no TikTok. Twitter had been pretty solidly established. Facebook certainly was. Mm-hmm. So I did a lot of content for him, but and it was for a good salary. And the biggest problem and challenge in radio is that I was doing a ton of marketing, not only for the radio stations, coming up with the writing for Jack FM and imaging production work for Mix, but also producing commercials for the clients that advertised, which in case sometimes involved, okay, let's sit down and come up with the message of your commercial. Who are you? What do you do? What's your big idea? Who are your clients? Why do they keep coming back? Uncovering all those things and creating an ad campaign out of it. And on top of that, I also had a ton of side hustles, video, voiceover. So I was busy. The desire and the impetus of me to get into a business where I could just focus on one thing.
Right.
Was so appealing. So he gave me the number I wanted for a salary. And I came with this big presentation. We met at Wild Ginger, and an hour later, he's like, fine, let's just do it. Okay, cool. So, my first week there was, in his office, and not much room for me in the office. It was a big facility, but not like I had to share an office with another guy. I'm like, okay, well, I need to get equipment, a computer, so I can start doing all this stuff for you. So I ended up putting a package together to buy equipment, cameras, lights, all that stuff. And within that first week, he probably fired like 5 people. And my wife is like, well, hey, we got extra money. We can do that. I'm like, no, put it away. I said, this guy's a little fire happy. Yeah. So, Yeah, that lasted about 2.5 months. Because I
boy.
didn't set the expectation in the beginning.
Yeah.
Guy, this is going to take a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I want to move the needle. It's going to take about a year to move the needle. It's not 2.5 months later. Dude, what'd you expect in 2.5 months? You didn't give me. I barely got off the ground.
Right, and it's all about fit, and that's where I was sold, because I could tell that Tanner and I just had that chemistry, and where we just aligned on all business cylinders, and you could tell it was that good fit. And it's just like with sports, you see so many kids transferring now, and I was a transfer from Eastern Michigan to Cumberland, but you have to, kids have to go in and talk to their coaches and see, hey, what are you expecting of me in
What are
here?
the KPIs?
Yeah.
And are they realistic?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And if it's not that good fit, then don't go there. And that's kind of the thing. So I'm fortunate that happened to you, but I'm sure you learned that lesson, and it was something that you still remember to this day.
Oh, totally. Here I am telling the story, but it had to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Because not only did it show me a lot of things that I will not do again, but also it revealed to me the first ability that I had to close somebody.
Nice.
Because the day he let me go, I sat in his office, and in selling and sales, that you get to a point where you kind of sort of had nothing else to lose in the transaction and in the negotiation. So you kind of go for everything, right? You go for the big, what's the one thing holding you back, right? Just let's just do this. So at one point, he says, "It's not you, it's me. I just don't see how this thing is going to ever. I can't imagine how a collision business will ever be able to market on social media." And I'm like, "Dude, are you out of your flipping mind?"
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I mean, he was one of the biggest advertisers on radio here locally, and I said, "You do realize a lot of people's attention is going to their phones, all right? And if they see you as well as being reinforced on the radio, and you could do this and reach a lot more people for far less money with somebody like me on board. I don't understand what we're talking about here. Why do you want to cut this thing loose so quickly? It's not you, it's me." He kept on saying that. I said, "Okay, what's the one thing? Would we have to jettison or take in consideration on my salary? What do we need to do here?" And he kept on saying, "It's me." I said, "I know it's you, but I believe in working with you, and I enjoy working with you. I have enjoyed work, and I really did. We can make this thing work, dude. Okay, you're spending X amount of dollars on the agency. I think it was like $10,000 a month. I said, that's more than what you're paying me.
Right. Come on now.
Come on,
Yeah.
dude. You're spending $100K a month. He's taking a 10% commission on it. Okay, let me just do the buys.
Right.
I can do this.
Yeah.
That's all he's doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here we are. And but I was trying to close him. That's what I realized in the back.
And that's really good. That's something my late grandpa always told my dad when he was kind of going through a career change. If you're in that situation, look at the skills that you've gained from your previous experiences, and where does that fit with another company or with and it sounds like that's exactly what you were trying to do, but they couldn't get with you.
Everything that happened and benefited my life since wouldn't have happened.
Right.
If I would have stuck around.
Yeah.
If anything, it would have been more of a headache.
Yeah.
To contend with a personality like that just being unsure of where you stand sucks.
Yeah, absolutely.
It sucks.
Absolutely.
So, you go on, you move on to the car business, which is what I did. And that was a valuable experience that I always talk about. And people are probably tired of hearing me talk about it. But, that's how it kind of landed, man. So,
Yeah.
So marketing, did you go to school for marketing and learn that?
I got my bachelor's in marketing. I sure did. I was in college for
You don't want to go for
long.
sports advertising or broadcasting or anything like that?
Well, I kind of learned about my broadcasting passion a little too late.
Tanner's going to totally hate me for this. He's like, what are you trying to do? Talk him out of this?
No, Tanner has told me, bro, we need to get you on TV somewhere. Like,
I know.
If you ask him that, he'll say that. That's my man. But no, I found that passion a little too late. For a long time, I thought I was going to go play pro ball.
Right. You were a basketball player.
I was a basketball player, and I had a redshirt year. I was in it for a very long time, and probably spent, I think, 5 total years, maybe 6 in college because I ended up getting my master's. But then I found a passion in coaching. I love doing that. And then when I got behind this mic here and was able to voice my opinion on the game and pay a little bit of my knowledge forward, I was like, man, I love this. And by then it was, you got to get some internships, and a lot of with the radio business, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
It is like anything.
Exactly. I mean, shoot, that's how I'm here now. My brother-in-law is really good friends with Tanner, that's who I met him through, and then boom, here we are. So it's the power of one.
Combine the best of both worlds: the sports marketing, broadcasting with the plumbing aspect of it.
Yeah, maybe a sponsored podcast.
Like what we talked about, man. Don't steal my thunder here.
Well, I was trying to set you up. I was throwing you a little alley-oop there. Like, a little conversation we've had before, huh?
We've had a long time. And this is, I guess, we can qualify this as a... We'll go there. Why not?
Nice.
So, marketing, what is your problem? I'll let you articulate it.
Well, Jim, my problem... I love this music. This is great, man. No, my problem is kind of a foreseeable problem with where we're going, and I kind of harped on it a little bit earlier, but we are a company who wants to be as big as some of those household names like a Happy Hiller and Lee Company or great companies, and we want to be as big as them, but we want to keep our boutique feel, and the feel that we are family oriented, we're family owned and operated, we're tight knit, and we're guys you can really trust, guaranteed every single time. Yeah. And that's where, as I try to scale this thing, that's going to get more and more difficult. So it's it's a tough problem because it's almost like a bridge I gotta come to whenever that bridge approaches, and I gotta cross it whenever it comes. But we're still trying to shift through that a little bit.
It is, and I understand where you're coming from with that, and it reminds me of a Facebook post that I saw earlier, and I commented on it. A friend of mine from Las Vegas, her name is Charisse Fruget.
Nice.
And originally from New Orleans, worked with her in Las Vegas. And she moved here to Nashville to take a job with an industry website called All Access. And she's a contributor, just a person. I don't know her official title, but she's got the horsepower to be at this organization completely. Yeah. But she wrote an article about In-N-Out versus Whataburger and how In-N-Out, as you know, is coming to Tennessee. We've got, a lot of scalable companies, and this might be the answer that you're looking for. It all comes down to culture, and the culture of your business. Like you mentioned before, the core principles, the core values, the pillars of the business, that's got to come from Tanner and the upper management, because at the end of the day, that's what he controls. Yeah. Right. Joe Agresti, who's the CEO of the Dream Motor Group, that owns the Ferrari dealership and the Mercedes in Music City. He says, my title, even though it says CEO, I look at it as Culture Enforcement Officer.
I like that.
And he's huge on culture, in the car business. And as he's scaling his dealerships, he's got a central set of core beliefs and values that he espouses to his teams and says, this is who we are. This is how we do business. This is how we're going to continue to, duplicate and work on this. It's almost like a full-time job to work on it, right? So the advantage you guys have is seeing it on a smaller scale and then making sure it's duplicatable, that guys that are coming on board understand the culture, which is before, it's like a Bible. Right. It's got to be your gospel. Yeah. But it's got to be identified and worked on and nurtured. Yeah. Almost on a monthly, if not weekly basis.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's how, you look at organizations like Chick-fil-A, In-N-Out Burger. Right. But I mean, a lot of that is culture. They hire the right people. The people that they hire are naturally attracted to them because of the culture that they've built. And they've always got a line around the building just about at any given time of the day. And of course the food is consistent and all those things, McDonald's can do that. But if you've noticed, McDonald's culture and the treatment has gone downhill. Okay. Another organization you can look at is Culver's. Culver's is the same way. Yeah. It's like Chick-fil-A Junior, But with In-N-Out coming to town, Charisse wrote this article saying that when you go, you get spread too thin. She was saying, when In-N-Out is established in the southwestern portion of the country, and now they're coming here, she's seeing it as like radio, because a lot of companies back in the 90s and the millennium and stuff like that bought a lot of radio stations, and all of a sudden, to operate the radio stations, they were cutting back on the staff and, cutting down on salaries. It became like a real estate game.
Right.
Culture went out the window. You counted on people who were passionate about radio to make sure that it happened. And, paychecks went down in terms of pay rates and things of that nature, because they know they could count on your passion to compensate for the low pay, right? That's what my experience was in that industry. So she's kind of making the case that as you get bigger and bigger and bigger, you're getting more and more spread thin, which is tough to maintain the quality for the end user.
Exactly.
And I said, not if your culture's intact. If you keep those guys at the front lines in mind, and never mind that, radio shot itself in the foot back in the late 90s and the millennium by, jettisoning the idea of live and local out the window.
Yeah.
So interesting correlation there with that article from Charisse.
It is, and I love that, and you give me a little more hope in when we have to cross that bridge because of the culture that we are forming right now. And when I really think about that, we have a really, really, really great a great group of core individuals that care about this company just as much as Tanner. He is the T of T&C, but
let me hit you with the honest, brutal truth. They don't care about the company as much as Tanner. They will if they have a stake in it.
Fair enough. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. But I will say the way they come to work is with that mindset.
Right. So an ownership mindset.
Right.
Sure.
So they care about the work that they're putting out. They care about how far this company can go. And as we bring more people in, maybe that's where we'll see that slow spread of, I love relating. We've related a lot of this to sports, and I love relating things to sports. It's just like you have those, late great Kobe Bryants in the locker room who are saying, who are leading by example, getting in the gym real early, waking up real early, so the rest is doing. I'm not sure if you saw the Redeem Team documentary, but that's what happened with them. With LeBron and D Wade and all that, they came back partying, and they saw Kobe already heading to the gym. So very next day, what did they do? Well, they did the same thing.
They felt it was that Catholic guilt.
I like that.
When I had Chris Hope on a couple months ago now, he was on, I can't remember what episode number, but go to the website, What's Your Problem Podcast. Great episode with Chris Hope, who was in the NFL, played with the Titans and a whole host of other teams. He talked about the culture on, every NFL team has its culture.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about Aaron Rodgers and how I'm like, why is he struggling? He says, well, that's what happens when you pay a guy a lot of money and you got to jettison his receiving team. You can't pay these guys what they got to go somewhere else because there's only so much money in the budget. And if it goes towards one guy, then, hey, we're paying you a lot of money. You better get it done.
Right.
And, we all know how that turned out now,
I think a lot of people who are, the NFL and college debate right now, they're like, that's why we love college football, because once you put the money aspect into it, it's like, oh, well, we don't want to watch anymore because it is different. You feel that passion just if you've been to a game, or even if you watch on TV, when you watch college football, it's like, oh, these kids are just going.
They're going and they're trying to stand out. They're trying to make a career. They want to get to the NFL. So there's almost like a no holds barred aggression, purpose to what they're doing. And I guess they adhere much better as a team, like a unit, especially down here in the South. I mean, you see these, the Georgias, the Alabamas, the UTs, all those guys.
What are they feeding these kids down here, man? I don't.
I think it's just, it's that, like we're talking about, that passion that, if you have a coach that, here's the thing is that everybody, if Tanner is a guy that, and I'm pretty sure he is, if he's a guy who people are willing to take a bullet for, that is the sign of a good leader, right? At least one sign. If they're willing, to, because Tanner is that's his desire, and they respect and admire him to that nth degree. Yes, we will paddle and swim in the same direction with the same ferocity as every guy on this team. There are no weak links, right? And as long as everybody buys into that, You should generally, you're going to have issues, but, a lot less than companies that don't harp on culture.
Yeah, so. And one of our core values is collaboration, which we love because though Tanner is the T of T&C and it's his show, he's humble in the fact that, he's still young. He doesn't know everything, but he's put himself in great positions, surrounding himself with people that may know a little bit more than him. So, and he's fine with that. He wants that because they can help this company grow. And there are some things that he knows. He knows loads more than me in a lot of different aspects. Maybe I'll come to him with some things I know more about. And, our master plumber, our service lead, Joseph, he is a 5th generation plumber. That is a rare find. We call him our lottery winning plumber because he's been in this for 30 plus years and, loves plumbing, which is funny to say out loud, but he knows the ins and outs, more than anybody on the company. But we respect what he says, and he respects Tanner as his leader still. Yeah. But they always, are here in collaboration. So
it's a servant leadership element from Tanner's end. That look, even though I'm the owner, doesn't mean I know everything. Yeah. But I can assure you that whatever I'm asking you to do, I've done it too. Mm-hmm. I found that out with our other company here, J Squared, which we do a lot of lighting installations. When this company was getting off the ground in spring of 2022, we had an opportunity to do a very large project in Cleveland, Ohio, and it was an all-hands-on-deck situation. I mean, us owners were there. Everybody in the company that we had was on this job to get it done, because here we are. We're 600 miles away from our families. We've got a limited scope of time to get it done, and these guys had never seen me, because I've done electrical work in the past on another life, and I thought maybe, hey, as long as we get a rhythm going, I can kind of just monitor things and do other things that I need to do. But thankfully, we started on a weekend. There wasn't much else going on. I said, you know what? My business partner got up in a lift and started taking old lights down. I said, I'll come behind you and start putting in the new ones, or he was laying the new ones in, and I started wiring them up.
There you go.
So my guys had to go back and troubleshoot some circuits and whatever. And when they came across my lights, they're like, oh my gosh, what are you connecting? These things are like locked together. I'm like, yeah, that's the way you're supposed to do it. Yeah. And they're like, anytime we have a job, we want you on it. I'm going, nope. I'm okay with helping out every now and then, but yeah, I've got capabilities. So
just to show them real quick, who's the man. Yeah, there you go.
And it wasn't even that. Hey, I'll jump in. I'm not above this.
Yeah, right? That's very important. And I just got off the phone with Tanner maybe 2-3 hours ago, and he said, hey, I gotta go help out, my boy Koki and Hunter. They got a big job going on. He's going out there in the trenches with them, and I met up with him at one job. We had somebody who was deep in a trench, just getting dirty, and he was there helping him out, clearing it out, and I drove up, and I was surprised to see him with it was some sort of shovel, and he was like, yeah, I wanted to be there and show him that I'm willing to do that and sweat for him a little bit, and because he's willing to do that for anybody in the company, which is special.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree. So positioning statements for the company. Ever think of one?
A positioning statement?
Yeah. They never taught you about positioning statements in marketing?
It's fleeing my mind. You might have to re-educate me.
In some of the books, you ever read the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing? Mm-mm. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a really good one. That's actually what turned me on to marketing and radio. That was a radio staple almost, and it's still got a lot of tried and true concepts that work today. Even though in the book they use a lot of dated brands and stuff like that, things like IBM, whatever. Okay, so. The principles are still very sound, but the same authors wrote a book called Branding, Positioning, The Battle for Your Mind. And positioning statements are key. So it's the big idea of your business, but translated from a bottom-up perspective.
So maybe a mission or
not even a mission, vision, just what's the big idea behind the business? If I tell you I'm loving it, what do you think of?
Right, okay. Or any kind of... So
have it your way.
Like a slogan. I mean, we have a slogan.
Right. Which is,
if your pipes need some TLC, use a plumber from T&C.
That is a slogan, but a positioning statement has, definitely tells people what you guys do. But what is the differentiator? What's different about this company than the next one?
Well, maybe you can help me come up with it here because
something to think about.
Yeah, we can. I can chew on a lot of those ideas there because obviously it all stems around telling their story,
right?
And of who they are. That's what I am. That's my main goals. I want everybody to know the T&C Plumbing company that I know just through the interactions that I've had with these great people.
Yeah.
Through video and imagery and just getting to know us online.
Yeah. It's almost like in the collision business, I wanted to position it as, look, we get it. We are the last place you want to need. Mm-hmm. A lot of the trades, other than, electrical, I think has the sexiest appeal to it because, hey, I want to change out that fan or that chandelier. I want to add a light here. There's a little bit of sex appeal there, right? It is. With plumbing, it's, unless you're adding a nice fixture.
You don't like poop?
Well, I mean, but you're not just working with toilets,
I'm
right?
kidding, of course not.
Or, hey, I want to install, we just put like a bidet attachment on our, this is totally going TMI. We just
I'll take the blame.
A bidet attachment on it. What a game changer. Have you ever used a bidet?
I haven't.
Dude.
It's very clean.
It's totally clean. I had it's like you hear about it and you're going, holy crap. This, well, no pun intended. This really, I'm going to save so much on toilet paper.
Yeah.
I mean, you still use it, but I mean, not as much as I felt like sometimes I was wiping a marker.
Well, you got to have some sort of special toilet paper after that, right? If you have
nothing, just same toilet paper. You just dry things off, and hey, it's okay. There it is. Well, so not all things with involve plumbing involve poop. Things going away.
That's what people like to think sometimes, but
yeah, I mean that's typically there's some funny. Branding attempts in the plumbing world that I've seen before, which are entertaining at the most or in the least. But I've always had the idea, hey, we're the last place you'd want to need. Similar with like an HVAC organization, right? Where your AC goes out. Crap. What's the first thing that crosses your mind?
It's going to, depending on the weather, it's going to get real hot. It's going to get real cold.
And then what? And how much is this going to cost me?
Absolutely.
Gosh.
Yeah. Something else. It's always something.
It is always something. But it's not like, hey, I'm gonna get something new out of this. That's enjoyable. A new faucet or a new look or a new, vanity or whatever. That plumbing can actually help with that. There's a nice little balance there. But when it comes to HVAC and collision, no, it's like we're the last people you want to see. Right. You don't want to need us.
Yeah.
So with an HVAC position, just to get your mind going in that direction of how can I shape this the same way, I've always thought if I ever owned an HVAC company, I would call it Beach Chair Heating and Air, where everything that we strive for is sunny and 75. Now, what kind of imagery does that evoke?
That's pretty nice. That's I'm now just kind of chilling, maybe in Florida somewhere. And
we are getting your comfort back.
Yeah. There you go.
From
I like that.
Us coming into your home to take a look at what happened. You're going to be comfortable with our guys. To the numbers, yeah, sure. Of course, it's not the cheapest thing around, but trust us, we're going to make it comfortable and get your comfort back.
Yeah.
So you can live and be in comfort in your own home.
Yeah, I like
Beach
that.
Beach Chair Heating and Air. Don't even look on GoDaddy because I already bought the URLs.
Yeah, I was about to say, get that patented.
Yeah.
Hold on now. There you go.
I'm not sure if I can do that.
I like that a lot and really diving into the aspect of getting your life back to normal the best way we can, and as not costing you a big buck, keeping it as cheap as we can for you, but because if your pipes burst, it can kind of ruin your routine, your daily routine.
We're down to one bathroom in this place.
Yeah, man. So let's get your life back to normal a little bit. So, but let that digest, get a positioning statement going.
Yeah, and it could be interjecting the core principles of the company and and core principles really need to be delved into because they can be nurtured over time. A lot of people do buzzwords, collaboration, things of that nature, but take it another step, right?
Yeah.
What does that really mean within our organization?
Yeah.
How does that benefit the customer?
Yeah.
One of the things that I do is a lot of video for the Mercedes dealers here locally, and Mercedes in Music City and their other dealerships throughout the South. I interview their people, and I interview their customers. And I always ask, okay, how would you describe what it is that they do here to a friend of yours? And that's almost something you can do. Like the last 10 to 15 to 20 customers, hey, I know we're a plumbing company, but I'm really trying to figure out how to zing what we do, how to describe it, you know.
I like
if you
that.
had to refer us, if you had to describe to somebody else what we do and what makes us different, how would you do it? And as a marketer, you start taking down the notes or recording the calls, reviewing them, and then after 10, 15, 20 calls, find the common theme. Mm-hmm. Let your customers tell you, this is how I see you.
Yeah.
You know, that might be the resonator.
And that's brilliant. That's what we're all about. You know, putting one of our core values is customer commitment, putting their needs above our own, and knowing what they want, adjusting to what they need and what they want, and doing the best we can to do that. So that's a really good idea.
What's some of the more cringy slogans or positioning statements you've ever heard? Anything come to mind?
Well, for some reason, this may not answer the question very well, but I really don't like the Burger King commercials. The BK, have it your way.
It's sticky though, man.
It does stick.
It's an earworm.
And I mean, it's worked because I'm thinking about that. But right when you said that, they have a couple different versions too. That guy, he, it sounds a little more natural. They have a couple other ones. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Stick to the other guy, but
I don't know. I don't know what the lyrics of the song, but it is a catchy tune. It's like, you know what I'm talking about? It's on during the football games.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe it's just me.
Maybe you should make that your own.
Maybe that was a noob moment. But
or it's something for What's Your Problem podcast. It's a new commercial.
I'm not perfect. I can tell you that much. I'll make fun of myself as much as the next guy. When you have radio cliches that always come to mind for me, I love the line "family." We'll treat you like family. Mm-hmm. And I've always said, I'm like, you guys realize that's for a lot of people, that's not a good thing.
That is not.
No. So I mean, you're going to be like my uncle Diddles, and come into my bedroom at night and feel me up. Is that because that's family. That's how I was treated by my family.
If you met my in-laws, you'd love them. They are a hoot and a half.
Yeah.
They are.
We'll treat you like family. You're going to start stinking after about 3 days, like fish.
You'll probably love being a part of that family. But there are definitely. I'm with you on that one. There are some families where it's like, okay, well.
There were so many different cliches in radio copy that I had to just groan and roll my eyes over. You're not aware of them in the beginning, but you see them pop up, and it's only because people hear these phrases being used in commercials on the radio. Well, I need to do that. Yeah. I need to have a laundry list of all the stuff that I do. And to me, I'm like, it's like a B&I 30-second commercial. Mm-hmm. Concentrate on what gets the conversation started.
Yeah.
Like, what problem do you solve?
Yeah.
And just go with that. And that's what I always coach my clients that came into the radio station to write ads. We've got a laundry list here. Put yourself in the listener's shoes. Are you going to pay attention to that? Mm-hmm.
And less is more.
It really is. Let the spot breathe. You don't have to pack it in with 45 seconds of copy for a 30-second spot. Dude, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
It does a lot.
So you have a lot of cliches, which are a lot of fun. You can Google them, radio cliches. Conveniently located. Yeah. You realize that nothing is conveniently located. Unless it's straight out of my freaking front door.
Right.
Family owned and operated. Locally owned and operated.
Yeah.
Great. Our knowledgeable
That's us
staff.
Now. That is us.
It is, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, get to the core of it. Got to dig a little deeper.
Right. Make it more than a cliche.
Yeah.
And what was the other one that had on the tip of my tongue? Locally owned and operated, family run, owned and operated. There's another one for all your blank needs.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I banished that phrase from my vernacular.
I'm trying to think of any that I think I've used that before. I still do commercials for WANT every now and again, and usually they send me the script.
They have this copy already well written.
Yeah. But a lot of the times, if I can't make it flow, because I speak different than anybody else. You speak different than anybody else. There's no one person that's the same. So sometimes, just to make it feel a little bit more authentic, I'll tweak it a little bit to where it flows a little better. And I haven't heard a problem yet. So hopefully it's
You know,
it's been all right.
I've been, I've had clients that say, well, hey, here's the copy. And sometimes the client will voice it. And the guy I have in mind, he doesn't do a bad job voicing it, but he'll pack, 45 seconds into a 800 pounds of potatoes into a 30-pound sack, right? And I've got to, okay, I can only condense it so much until you start sounding like a friggin' chipmunk and over compressed and whatever. So I pull it out a little bit more. Okay, what phrases can I drop? You know? They don't need to hear your friggin' phone number. Another radio cliche. All right, stop putting your damn phone numbers in friggin' radio ads. All right, unless it's 1-800-mattress. Leave off the last S for savings. Yeah. Don't put your stupid phone number because you got to say it 7 times for it to be even remotely memorable.
And that takes 10 seconds out of your ad.
About 4 seconds.
If you do it in the beginning and in the end,
or
depending
7 times.
on beginning, end, and middle, then it's gonna cut into a good chunk of what you're really trying to do. Yeah,
tell the story instead. What I will recommend is looking into a trip down to the Wizard Academy in Austin.
The Wizard Academy. Are you talking about Hogwarts? Are you talking about Hogwarts right now?
It's not Hogwarts. Well, it predated Hogwarts.
If there's a real life Hogwarts and I haven't heard of it, then I'm very disappointed.
You need to look into wizardacademy.org. So they are a 21st century business school. And the guy who heads everything up, who kind of started everything, his name is Roy H. Williams. He wrote a trilogy of books back in the 90s.
That name flows.
Yeah. Well, there's a Roy Williams that was a NFL star at one point. But Roy H. Williams.
I like H. Williams better.
He wrote a trilogy of books back in the 90s called The Wizard of Ads.
There you go.
Dude, buy the books. Tanner, pay for him for a course to go take.
I'd like that.
Yeah.
A little trip to Austin. Is that what's going on? Can I bring my wife?
If you do it, maybe I'll go.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll go together.
I love it.
I could use a refresher. I went in 06.
Yeah.
So I'm overdue.
You can never stop learning. You always got to. I'm gonna turn 29 this year, and so I have a whole lot to learn. I'll say, I think I'll be called a baby, most of my life, because most of my peers are, 5 to 10 years older than me. So even when I'm 50 and they're 65, you're a baby. That's okay. Still, but that's
hold on
fun.
to that.
Yeah, well, as long as I can.
I thought you were younger than 29, to be honest with you. So
really, well,
24, 25. That's okay.
I'll take that.
Run with it.
I will take
Trust
that.
me.
Yeah, you should see me without this beard. That's the reason why I keep this beard on. I don't know what's going on.
You look older, so
here.
it ages you up?
It does.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd say it ages me up.
I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my hair. If I'm going to leave it like this or let it grow or cut it.
Or get it shiny.
Yeah. Well, I've had the bald look before.
Didn't like it?
I just got, my family, you should grow your hair out. Why? I'm going to look like Don Henley from the friggin' 70s.
You kind of resemble, I see a lot of Marvel here. Iron Man 1, what's his name?
Obadiah Stein.
Obadiah.
Yeah.
You could get a little Obi going. Now, not that that's a particularly a good thing.
He is a villain, but
instinct. But he's a very good actor. Jeff Bridges is the man.
Yeah.
So you can pull off a little Jeff Bridges there.
Maybe. I always heard Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis's fat younger brother. So.
Bruce Willis is a good one.
Well, how do people get a hold of T&C Plumbing? They have a website. They've got the social media that you're crushing, right?
Absolutely. Our Facebook is filled with a lot of good tips and tricks and DIYs and just some fun content.
You have YouTube going?
We're going to start building that. You'll see a lot of Tanner on there. You maybe, if you're lucky enough, you'll see a little bit of me on there. And
TikTok?
A little TikTok-y. See, I've never been a fan of TikTok, but it's so viral that it's hard not to get a little piece of it.
Right. So there are electricians on there that have tens of thousands of followers.
From a marketing standpoint, I have to. From a personal, in my heart standpoint, I'm like, maybe I need to get like a little marketing team that'll do that for me, so I don't have to do it. But I should probably be looking into it.
As a marketing guy, you should know better.
I know it. But anyways, you can call us at 931-224-1481.
What's that number again? The number will be
Did you set me up for that?
I did. The number and the contact information and Tanner's socials and all that stuff, and Trent's socials will be in there as well. So
I almost forgot that number, to be honest. I'm glad that that kind of flowed, right? I didn't
What's
pause
the
it.
number again?
I kind of felt myself pause. 931-224-1481. That's 931-224-1481.
You need to find just dial plumbing.
Flumming?
Plumbing. Did I say flumming?
It sounded like flumming.
Plumbing. Or plumber. So Plumber.
Yes.
There you go. There's 7 digits.
Nice. Oh, there you
Look
go.
for a phone number. Just call plumber.
Yeah.
931 plumber.
And make sure it is, and we'll have that at the bottom.
And you
but
need to get a 615. You just get a friggin' 800 number.
They can call me 615-944-3242.
How many friggin' more phone numbers can we put in here? Right out loud. Well,
Fill them up like the Matrix. I don't know.
Well, here's the other aspect: is how do you overcome? Do you have T&C Plumbing.com with the word and?
Nope. Oh, with the sign.
Is it the
we'll
little
pop
and
up
sign?
Yeah, we'll pop up on TNC, but a lot of people will get it mixed up with TNC, like
Right.
TNT, but
Oh, TNC, the letter N.
Yeah,
So you
people
need to
get
buy
that.
up all those URLs.
yeah, we got to get a lot of those SEOs. I got to get with Mr. Tyler Krause and Ashley Bright.
Yeah.
You guys have seen on here a couple times, I believe. I watched that show.
Yeah, Tyler was on here. Ashley was on here. I talk
Good.
about Ashley all the time.
Yeah.
She's big on making sure that your reviews are good.
And we are working on that as well. I had a great one-to-one with her about that. And we're over 100 reviews. You find us on Google, you see us on there. 4.9 rating, 106 reviews.
Now, here's the thing.
We need more.
Now, if you have a perfect 5.0 score on Google reviews with like 10, okay, I'll give you that. If it's like 25, it's a little bit of funny business. If you get over 100 or 200, okay.
Well, what are we doing here? What are we paying for? Yeah,
Right.
We like authenticity. We love all of the people who have given us true 5 stars. We won't have to discuss any of the lower bids that could have been trolls.
You're gonna get them.
But we are going to get them. Absolutely.
Some people are just unreasonable.
Yeah.
They almost help you because you can respond to them and people can see how you responded, which is integrous.
Our big thing is if we have a poor review because of pricing, we can deal with that. We bid to the absolute best of our ability, always trying to save you guys some dollars. But if that's the biggest thing, then it is what it is there. But if there's a complaint about how you were treated from any of our technicians, that's what will really blow me away because I can't see that happening because that's who we are. But we'll always call and rectify that. Whenever it's on us, we're like, oh no, we'll fix that for you. We'll do our utmost.
Right.
So yeah,
You should.
Yeah, absolutely. Like any business should.
Yeah. There's actually similar, Bill Yuss.
Bill Yuss.
Yeah, he's been on the podcast early on, back when we were in the other place.
Yes,
I need to have him back on. Yeah, he does garage doors here locally.
Nice.
He's built a monster business, just him. It started out with him in a van. Now he's probably got, 5 or 6 guys working for him, bunch of vans, fleet. And he goes around fixing garage doors all around Spring Hill. But he started just by posting little specials on the local Spring Hill page. So he just doubled down in his area, in his own backyard. And over time, because of how he treated people, he became a juggernaut. Like, to the point that if anybody dares to speak badly or ill of him on Facebook, on the local pages, there are people that pile on in his defense.
I love that.
Okay? That's when you know you've...
Oh, you got the juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think Tanner has that good following enough to whenever we see that, we could see a good rapport, build. But that's definitely the goal. We want people, back in how we are as people.
So do you want to start a podcast and have it powered by T&C Plumbing?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we should talk.
Yeah, we should because I believe there's something called like what'syourshow.co
or it'syourshow.co. Do I need to get another URL that says
Well,
What's Your
there's a maybe I mixed up What's Your Problem
What's
and
Your
It's Your
Problem.
Show. I blended those together because there's one person that does that. Oh, there it is, right in the background.
There it is. It just popped up.
There it is.
There's that amazing logo.
I need to call it says Podcast Makers right here. So
That's right.
If I want one, I guess I need to call them.
Very simple. That's what we do. We make podcasts.
Well, this is fantastic. So anybody out there who's watching this and has been a faithful watcher of What's Your Problem and want a podcast, you need to hit Mr. Jim up here.
There we go. I'm using that. We'll wrap with that. So there you go. Check us out, what'syourproblempodcast.com. Again, please rate. If we can get 5 stars out of you, terrific. If we can't, let us know how we can make it a 5-star. Just hit us up. Everything's right there. What'syourproblempodcast.com. Again, 5,000 average downloads per episode. That's what we're shooting for 2023. We are a long way off, but hey, I'll take what I can get.
Just for now.
No, just for now. You gotta put it out there, right? And then let the universe respond.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thanks again. whatsyourproblempodcast.com. Trent, always a pleasure, man.
Always. Thank you so much for having me. It was an honor.